Right, boys and girls, I think it's fair to say I am a very happy camper today. I'm in Scotland, I'm in some glorious baking sunshine for once. We've got a fantastic crop of grass and we've got not one BigX to play with, we have two Krone BigX foragers. So why are we here? Well, to explain that, I have Krone UK's marketing maestro, Mr. James Duggleby himself, who is going to explain why have you brought us to Scotland, James?
So we're looking here today at green gold, i.e. silage. We've had a history of making good silage with foragers over the years. A lot of it has been focused around maize, the publicity has been around maize, but actually we do a fantastic job with grass. So we're here today looking at how we make good quality silage and different components on the BigX which go to make this. We've now got Optigrass, and Optigrass is just how we put the different components, some standard, some optional, together on a forager to make this silage which has a good chop quality, good consistent length, which can be siled quickly and make yummy food for the cows.
So basically it's ultimately what all these components, their impacts, what it has on that.
Yeah, has on this. So we've got the EasyFlow header. We can't make good silage if we put in a bad crop flow into the machine. So it's got to start with a good consistent crop flow. So we've got the EasyFlow pickup on the front. That's a camless pickup with a W pattern arrangement of tines. So it's giving a nice uniform feed in there. The crop press roller gives us the resistance to stop the certain grass falling away. As that's sweeping into the forager, giving a nice even feed.
Now you say that's a camless pickup.
Yes.
Why do you guys go for a camless pickup?
Less wearing parts, it's quicker turning, so you can turn about 30% quicker because you've not got the kidney plates and the tine arms falling over. And you've got a quicker tip speed because the tip is always the same distance from the turning point, so you can get a nice even flow of crop into the forager.
And I believe all that speed is adjustable as well on this forager.
Yeah, so it's adjustable from the cab between 350 700 RPM. It's hydraulic drive, so it can be done from the comfort of the cab via control panel.
So that's manual, or do you have an automatic version as well?
There's an automatic system as well. You can do manual or you can do automatic, which will link to forward speed of the forager.
Perfect. Now, contamination, that's another big thing.
Issue,
so you want to keep this thing sort of off the ground, but just sort of hovering over it?
Just hovering, just floating. Accuracy is key here. So we've got 3 points. We've got 2 wheels at the front and a wheel at the back. And that's like the old milk still, so always level on an uneven surface, always stable on an even surface. So that keeps the header following the ground well and even contours. And then we can adjust the height on the front wheels. They're on a thread, so it can be done steplessly, so we can really fine tune that.
So you haven't got like inch steps with
you're not pins and holes and a Swiss cheese. That just needs a tweak.
Yeah. That
needs a tweak because these machines are about precision.
And back to contour following as well. You got the ring.
The ring, the pendulum on there. You see it on the feed rollers. And how is it? The paint's rubbing off, and that's just an indication of how much the header can flex and follow over the ground.
Perfect. So once we got it up and towards the feed rollers, let's speak feed rollers. So feed rollers, now you guys go for 6. 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom.
3 at the top, 3 at the bottom, absolutely. A couple of reasons we do this. Firstly, it gives us a longer distance to compress the crop. So we start in, some people say, oh well, 6, that middle roller doesn't do anything. Well, it does do something because they're all linked together and it's a gradual, it's a wedge shape.
Yeah.
So any lumps coming in are slowly squeezed and squeezed and squeezed down, and if another lump happens to follow, it's still been compressed and squeezed.
So you're not trying to do a really steep wedge?
No, we're doing a gradual
wedge.
Absolutely, a gradual. So that just helps compress the crop, because what we need with a nice uniform, even mat of crop here at the end of the feed rollers, this part will obviously connect onto the drum, and we need the more uniform and the more compressed the crop and mat, the better the chop.
So in terms of mat and the mat profile, obviously you've got, what, 8 foragers in your range, all different powers, they all step up. So what sort of effect or has that on the mat? So is there an ideal sweet spot sort of horsepower to?
You're looking about 1 millimetre to 1 horsepower-ish within that, give or take sort of 33%-ish either end. And that just allows us to match the power. If we get the mat too wide, it becomes too thin for the power, you're not got enough resistance to chop through.
Got you.
Obviously if you get it too narrow, your mat of crop goes up for high capacity, and then your drum's ending up cutting on the cross stroke instead of cutting on the downstroke.
Got you.
It's not efficient, you're draining power. The other thing on the feed rollers we really probably should talk about is they are hydraulically driven.
Right.
So they're, because they're hydraulic driven, yet again we can adjust the speed steplessly from the cab, and the speed of the feed rollers will help us.
That's in relation to the pickup?
No, that's
the independent, right.
The independent. So the feed rollers, we adjust the speed of the feed rollers, and the quicker we feed the crop in, the longer the chop.
Yeah.
The slower, the shorter the chop, and that marries up with the drum, the knife configuration on there to give our ranges of chops.
Okay, and what sort of chop lengths do you guys offer?
Yeah, so we'll go anywhere from 3mm up to sort of 31mm.
Yeah.
With a full set of knives. So the 20 knife drum is 31mm maximum down to sort of the mid-teens. A lot of users, a 20 knife drum's a grass drum, and a lot of users really want to be in that sort of high teens to 25mm chop length, depending on dry matter.
Well, that's it. I was going to say it's not like the old days with a trail forager. What you got
pick it up out the back, and
that'll do 22mm or whatever the hell it was. You know, adjusting chop length. What's the importance of that then?
So chop length, we want the chop length to be adjusted in relation to dry matter.
Yeah.
Also needs adjusted in relation to the ration, what the farmer's looking to feed to his cows, and how much roughage you want to know what kind of cow or animal he's feeding to. Is it a beef, bullock? We'll want something a bit coarser, harder to digest. Is it a dairy cow? We want superfood, we want really rich energy. But we also need to think about dry matter. If the silage is too wet, so below 20% dry matter, the chances are you cut it too short, it'll go mushy. It won't blow, it'll be horrible, it won't be good silage. Conversely, if it's drier, so over 20% dry matter, if you get it too long, it won't compact. If it doesn't compact, we're not squeezing the air out, we're not getting
Which
the
is the
inside.
problem in the plant then, it's just
the
a
problem
big fluffy.
It's just a big fluffy, you've got air in there, so you get an aerobic digestion, not anaerobic digestion. From here, let's go behind us. So we've got the drum.
So this is what you call your MaxFlow drum,
This is the MaxFlow
So this
drum.
is like version 2 from...
Version 2, we still offer version 1 with 40 knives on there, which is what we call the classic. We use for AD applications.
So the classic one, they're mounted, the blades are mounted
blades on the
top.
top, yeah, absolutely. So this one, the blades are mounted underneath. Double the crop carrying capacity.
Right.
So greater productivity, greater throughput. And also as well, with the MaxFlow, as well as having that capacity, we're protecting the drum from any wear underneath. This is the blade hanger here. This is the demountable one, the one we're screwing into.
That's it, yeah.
So that can be replaced along with the blade. So any crop coming into contact is away, we're not wearing. Yes, the drum here gets wear, but it's not in the corners where you've got the welds, etc. Looking at the MaxFlow as well, down to, we're talking about this chop quality, 11 degrees, the angle. That's the optimal angle we found testing over the years. Too flat and you're thudding through.
It's a hammer mill.
It's a hammer mill, exactly. It's not a precision chop. Too steep and you're pushing the crop to the middle.
Right.
You want a full width. You look here, the wear is fairly uniform across the full width. That's what you want. You don't want the paint on here and the blade sharp here and wearing there, because you'll never sharpen it up and you'll never get it to set to the shear bar. It'll impact on quality. You want it nicely trimmed up to the shear bar.
And obviously you guys, along with a few other forager manufacturers, go for like a sort of classic chevron pattern.
Yep.
Obviously JD, they go for the segmented knives. I mean, what are your sort of advantages then?
You've always got a knife in contact with the shear bar. So that means you can't wind the shear bar in too far and stall the machine.
There's no step to the next knife.
There's no step to the next knife. And it's just that smooth, constant chopping action instead of lots of little hammer mills or big hammer mills if the blades are too flat.
Okay. So shear bar then on this
shear bar, reversible shear bar, obviously. Once we sharpen the knives, we need to adjust this shear bar. Do it two ways. Buttons are on the side, we can do it manually, and we just listen for the tink, 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 and then back it off. If you don't want to do that, or you're not able to hear that kind of delicate noise, we now offer an automatic shear bar sensor adjustment. We've got one knock sensor on there. Just set it after sharpening, and it will adjust itself and put itself in.
Is that available to all your foragers?
Both the narrow and the large. It came when we launched the larger series, the 680, which is across there in the field, but we've now introduced it onto all foragers.
Okay, and I believe you've got another handy little feature as well. When you adjust the shear bar, also does
you've got it, the drum bottom comes up, so we want to maintain this gap wants to be as close as possible without touching for precision chop, and then we want to maintain that carry of the crop round the bottom of the drum. And when we sharpen the knives and shorten, if the drum gap underneath increases, we're losing that efficient carrying of material. So the drum bottom's linked to the shear bar, so as we move the shear bar in, the drum bottom goes up to maintain.
Is that something you've always had that?
Always had that. Always, certainly for a long, long time.
And then you've got the bit that kind of makes this forager almost famous. It's the bit that, when you talk to contractors who run these, they always have that little wry smile and that grin that they know they can handle lumps. What is it?
So it's VariStream. 10 years we introduced them on the foragers, back on the 650. It's a VariStream with a sprung-loaded drum bottom and a sprung-loaded accelerator backplate.
Right.
So So what that means, when we get that lumpy, say lumps,
Yeah,
we get
like
them in
today.
grass. Like today, yeah, it's just down to the nature of the grass. Sometimes it can be sticky and sugary
Yeah.
and just not wanting to
It's not
play
your
ball.
rakes, is it?
Not our rakes, no, not at all. So it can just be like that. So it just allows that surging of crop going through. So as we chop the grass, chop a lump, it goes underneath. The drum bottom can just give.
Right.
So it takes any sort of real shock load off the engine.
Yeah.
And it also just allows the crop to pass through with a bit more ease rather than trying to force.
So it's basically absorbing the lumps and the load
exactly.
rather than the engine
Rather
having
than the engine
to
having
do
all the
everything.
drive line doing going, the
So
engine
presumably that just lets the engine sit in the sweet spot.
sits in the sweet spot, so you've got a constant engine speed. You see your engine keeping up to a constant speed.
Yeah.
It's keeping the drives up to a constant speed. So you're getting a constant flow of crop into the forager.
Again, chop quality, yeah.
Getting chop
Keep
quality,
that.
absolutely.
That's it, your drum speed's not dropping or
Not
going
dropping,
up
or your
again.
feed rollers are not dropping, you're not surging
Yeah.
all the time. We're trying to keep it smooth. And with grass, because it can be lumpy, anyone can make lumpy grass, it's quite easy. We need to just be able to have that little flex in the system.
Okay.
And as well as the drum bottom, we also have the accelerator back plate and the Varistream, which is spring loaded as well, so we maintain the blow out of the spout and we're not blocking up higher up.
Yeah, well, we'll just have a quick look at the accelerator bit, because that's obviously got Varistream.
Yes.
But it's also got a little extra toy as well.
Yeah, you have, yeah.
It's that extra toy on the back.
So the extra toy, so here you can just see the back of the accelerator. We have the Varistream on there, which you just see make out the springs, which just allows for that ding ding ding, the shot. But we also have something called stream control now. This is an option. It's not available on every forager. It's standard, we can spec it. The stream control allows us to blow the crop further should we need to.
Right.
So we can engage more crop in with the accelerator paddle.
Okay.
The standard, we have it backed out. So
Yeah.
we just,
So if such as today when we're alongside.
alongside, just blow it straight in.
Yeah.
But had it, in glorious sunshine weather, had the grass been down for probably a day longer than we want it to, it could go quite light, almost like halo.
Yeah.
You might need a bit more blow
Yeah.
to get it into the trailer. Because
get the paddles engaging a bit more.
So wind the back in, yeah, exactly, engage the paddles more and give that extra blow.
Okay.
Yes, it uses more fuel because you're putting more force into the system, but it'll either give you a stronger blow in light crop or a further blow in heavy crop.
Additives.
Tank up here at 6'3". I'm just so the tank on the sides, just over 200 litres.
Right.
We can link that to a tank which is buried down under there.
Yeah.
So in total, we can have just over 500 litres of silage additive.
Right.
We can dose that from about half a litre to 7.5 litres a minute.
Yeah.
We can also put it on in a tonnage.
Okay.
Litres per tonnage
That's
rate.
based on the volume going through the feed roller.
Volume of crop going through the feed rollers, using our crop flow system, which
Okay.
monitors, and so it can say, right, actually, we'll adjust the additive to suit.
And I believe as well, if you tie that in with crop sensing on the spout, you can have a certain amount of automation.
You can with the chop length,
Right.
with the moisture on there.
Yeah.
It'll look and say, actually, we need to chop to this because of this length. We've got this dry matter coming through,
Yeah.
we've got this volume coming through, we can put this much additive on there, as well. So it's all starting to link in and being quite clever. We can also take it to the next level and have, because these machines are fitted with what we call Smart Connect, which is a Wi-Fi system, GPS. We can link any Krone trailers, forage wagons or the TX trailer, which has weigh cells to here.
Ah,
and
so
we can weigh the load,
calibrating itself.
calibrating itself back in. So you don't need it on every trailer,
Yeah.
but the more often you do it, the more accurate you're getting. So you're starting to build up that good picture an accurate picture of what the silage is with the dry matter, the chop length, the moistures, the additive levels, etc.
Okay, and in terms of dosing systems?
So what they call coarse dosing, or we would call high volume dosing. The Germans call it coarse. So that's your half a litre to 7.5 litres a minute. We can do a fine dosing or a low volume, which is around
like a concentrate.
really concentrated, sort of 0.03 to a quarter of a litre a minute. And we can, not fitted, but sort of in there with the right tank, you can get to 13 litre tanks.
Okay.
We can also, as well, if you want to, and you may be able to pick on the back, there is an IBC on here, back of this forager, and that because we can actually fit an external, anyone's external additive system.
So that's like a third
party one, yeah, exactly. Brilliant.
James, thank you very much for shedding a bit of light on what you guys have been up to over the years, because I know it's not a well-kept secret or the world's best-kept secret, but it's you've been busy.
It's not a secret, we've been busy, it's just the focus is on maize. Maize is a big crop across Europe.
Yeah, which is where this thing's from.
This is where things from. Maize is still an important crop for us, but we can't forget grass because lots of this country is green.
Well, that's it, it'll still be the biggest forage crop in the UK, presumably.
By probably about 2/3.
Yeah. Okay, James, thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you very much.